Ladies and gentlemen, I come before you today not to speak of fear, but of awareness, duty, and the mastery of knowledge. For what good is love if it fails to see what is right before its eyes? As Napoleon Hill once said, there is no hope of success for the person who does not have a central purpose or definite goal at which to aim. And today, our purpose is profound: to uncover the 5 quiet warnings that an elderly person may be approaching their final year. Not to mourn, but to prepare to connect to serve, before the clock completes its last revolution. A reduced appetite and noticeable weight loss in an elderly person can be one of the earliest and most telling signs that their body is beginning to wind down. This change often occurs gradually, which makes it easy to dismiss as a normal part of aging or a side effect of medications. However, when someone who once had a stable or healthy appetite begins to consistently eat less or show disinterest in food, it may be more than just personal preference. It may be the body's quiet signal that it is preparing for its final chapter. As the body nears the end of life, energy demands decrease. The digestive system starts to slow, and the body begins to conserve its resources. Food, once a source of comfort and pleasure, becomes a burden the body can no longer process as efficiently. Even favorite meals or comforting family dishes may no longer bring joy. Some may eat only a few bites, while others might stop eating entirely. Accompanying this change is often significant weight loss, especially when muscle mass diminishes and fat reserves deplete. This physical change is often accompanied by emotional or psychological shifts. Elderly individuals may not complain or express concern about not eating. They may simply be indifferent or quietly resigned. For caregivers and loved ones, this can be difficult to witness, but it's essential to recognize that forcing food is not the solution. Instead, understanding the meaning behind the change allows us to respond with empathy and presence. Rather than focusing solely on nutrition, the focus should shift toward comfort and connection. Sitting beside them during meals, offering small portions of favorite foods, and creating a calm, loving atmosphere can mean far more than calories. In these moments, it's not about prolonging life, it's about honoring it. A gradual withdrawal from social activities, conversations, and daily routines is another subtle yet significant indicator that an elderly person may be nearing the end of life. This change is often mistaken for depression or simply old age, but it can signal something deeper: a natural psychological and emotional shift inward. When someone who once enjoyed visits, phone calls, hobbies, or even small talk begins to pull away, it may be because their mind and spirit are beginning to detach from the world around them. This withdrawal can take many forms. They may sleep more during the day, appear less responsive during conversations, or decline invitations to participate in activities they once enjoyed. Sometimes their responses become shorter, or their interest in the news, family updates, or even favorite TV shows begins to fade. These aren't just signs of boredom or fatigue. They can reflect the body and mind slowing down in preparation for life's final phase. This retreat from the outer world often coincides with a turning inward. The person may spend more time in silence, reflecting, or simply resting. It can be a peaceful process if it's met with understanding and not resistance. Loved ones may feel hurt or concerned, interpreting the behavior as rejection, but it is not personal. It's a deeply human part of the transition, a way of preserving energy, conserving emotional strength, and quietly preparing for the journey ahead. In these moments, presence matters more than words. Sitting nearby, holding their hand, offering a gentle smile, these small gestures provide reassurance and comfort without demanding anything in return. By honoring their need for quiet and solitude, we offer respect, and in doing so, we meet them exactly where they are, with compassion, not fear. One of the most surprising and often misunderstood signs that an elderly person may be in their final year is a sudden burst of energy, clarity, or alertness after a period of noticeable decline. This temporary resurgence, sometimes referred to as a rally, can be emotionally confusing for family members and caregivers. It often creates a sense of hope, leading people to believe that recovery is taking place. But in many cases, this unexpected vitality is a final moment of clarity before the body lets go. This rally can last for just a few hours or even a couple of days. During this time, the individual may seem more talkative, more engaged, or even request food or drink they previously refused. They may recognize loved ones, speak clearly, and reflect on memories with remarkable lucidity. It can feel like a miraculous turnaround, especially after weeks or months of fatigue, confusion, or isolation. And while it is a beautiful and sacred moment, it is also one of the clearest signs that the end may be near. What causes this brief revival isn't fully understood, but many believe it's the body's final surge of energy, a last opportunity to connect, resolve, or say goodbye. For the dying person, it may be a time of peace and acceptance. For their loved ones, it can be both a gift and a challenge. It's important not to misinterpret this moment as a sign of healing or recovery. Instead, it should be embraced for what it truly is, a chance to be fully present, to listen, to hold their hand, and to say the words that matter most. Rather than fearing this moment, we can meet it with gratitude and reverence. It is often a final blessing, one last opening of the heart before the quiet comes. As the body nears the end of life, its systems begin to slow down and function less efficiently. One of the most noticeable signs of this process is a change in breathing patterns. Breathing may become irregular, shallow, or labored, often showing long pauses between breaths. A common pattern, known as Stokes respiration, involves a series of rapid breaths followed by a period of no breathing at all. To those unfamiliar with it, this can seem alarming, but it is a natural part of the dying process. These physical changes often reflect the body's gradual shutdown. The brain's control over automatic functions like breathing becomes less consistent. Circulation also slows down, leading to cold hands and feet, especially in the fingers and toes. Skin may appear mottled or slightly bluish in tone. These aren't signs of pain or struggle. They are signs that the body is gently letting go. For loved ones and caregivers, witnessing these changes can be distressing. There may be a sense of helplessness or fear, especially if these signs come suddenly, but understanding them as natural and expected can help bring calm and clarity to the moment. It is important not to panic or attempt to force normalcy. Instead, focus on providing comfort, keeping the person warm, maintaining a peaceful environment, and offering gentle reassurance. Sometimes, people worry that the person is suffering because their breathing seems strained or irregular. However, in most cases, the dying person is not in distress, but simply following the body's own timeline. It is a powerful reminder that death is not a violent event. It is a quiet return. By recognizing and respecting these changes, we offer the greatest gift, the chance for someone to pass in peace, with dignity, and in the comforting presence of those who care. When an elderly person begins to speak openly about death, expressing thoughts such as "I'm tired," "I want to go home," or "I've lived a full life," it can be one of the clearest signs that they are approaching the end of their journey. These words are often spoken with a calmness that surprises loved ones. They are not cries for help or signs of despair. They are expressions of acceptance, rooted in a deep, intuitive knowing that the body and spirit are preparing to part ways. This acknowledgement of mortality may come gradually or all at once. Sometimes it's wrapped in quiet remarks, other times in meaningful conversations that seem to come from a place of inner peace. The elderly, especially those who have lived long, reflective lives, often develop a sense of when their time is near. It's not uncommon for them to talk about seeing loved ones who have passed away, or to say they feel ready to let go. These expressions should not be dismissed or corrected. Instead, they should be heard with open hearts. For family members, hearing these words can be painful. There's a natural instinct to reassure or push the conversation away out of fear, but doing so can deny the person the dignity of sharing their truth. Rather than turning away from these moments, it's more meaningful to lean in, offer comfort, ask gentle questions, and allow them to reflect. This can lead to some of the most heartfelt and healing conversations you'll ever have. When someone says they are ready, believe them, honor their courage. It's not a sign of giving up. It's a sign of completion. In that quiet readiness, there is often a profound peace, and it's a final gift worth receiving with love and presence. The most important response to the signs of approaching death is not medical or technical. It is human. Awareness and presence are what matter most in the final chapter of life. Recognizing the subtle shifts in behavior, mood, and physical condition allows us to meet our loved ones where they are, with compassion rather than fear. So often, people miss these signs or ignore them, hoping they will pass or mean something less serious. But when we become attuned to the deeper meaning behind these changes, we gain the ability to give comfort, dignity, and peace in someone's final days. Being present does not always mean speaking or doing. Sometimes it means simply sitting beside the person, holding their hand, listening without interrupting, or offering quiet support through eye contact and a calm presence. It means not rushing to fix or deny what is happening, but allowing space for it to unfold. Presence communicates something that words cannot. It says, "You are not alone. I am here. You are safe." This kind of attentive awareness can also guide important decisions. It helps family members know when to call in additional support, such as palliative care or hospice. It ensures that conversations around end of life wishes, spiritual needs, or final goodbyes are not missed. Most of all, it reminds everyone involved that the final phase of life is not just about dying. It is still a time for love, connection, and meaning. In the end, recognizing the signs and responding with presence is not about control, it's about respect. It's about honoring the person's journey without turning away from it. And in doing so, we often discover that the final gift we give is also the most lasting one, being truly there, heart open, when it matters most.